Good evening, Lisa.
Good evening, Andrew. What are you doing?
I'm being faces.
Okay.
I'm being William Mervyn's face.
Right.
Because we're looking at All Gas and Gaiters.
We are indeed. And here is the box.
So what is All Gas and Gaiters, Lisa?
All Gas and Gaiters is a comedy programme
Yes.
starring William Mervyn
Mm-hmm.
and Derek Nimmo, Robert St Hare and John Barron as the various clergy of St Og's Cathedral.
Yeah, so William Mervyn is the bishop.
He's the bishop, yes.
Robert St Hare, who gets the first
He
credit,
does.
is the archdeacon.
Mm-hmm.
Nimmo is the chaplain, Newt.
Newt.
And John Barron at this point is the dean.
Yes.
Although the dean
Mm-hmm.
regenerates,
He does.
because John Barron is in seasons 1 and 4,
Mm-hmm.
but the dean is Ernest Clark in seasons 2 and 3.
Yes.
And his wife also regenerates. First of all, she's Ruth Kettlewell,
Yes.
as we see her here, and then she's Joan Sanderson.
Yes.
And we're more familiar with Joan Sanderson, aren't we?
Yes.
Because
more of her stuff exists.
more of her stuff exists.
Yeah.
It's one of these shows which is pretty decimated
Yes.
by wiping. So the
Wiping, yeah.
pilot episode exists, The Bishop Rides Again, from 17th of May 1966. The Bishop Gets the Sack from the 31st of January 67 exists. The Bishop Sees a Ghost, which is what we're going to be talking about,
Yes.
from the 21st of February exists. But the other 4 episodes from season 1 are lost. Season 2 is completely missing.
Yes.
Season 3 is completely missing.
Yes.
Season 4, only 2 episodes exist from 1970, and Season 5 exists in full, but the first 2 episodes are only in black and white and they should be in colour. So basically about half of it is lost.
Yes. More than half.
Yeah, in fact over half of it is lost. And there's only 11 episodes existing.
Yes.
Out of 33 episodes plus a Christmas Night with the Stars.
Yes.
And we might mention that later. But in terms of schedule, 21st of February 1967, there's not a huge amount that I'm terribly interested in.
No.
You've got Trumpton, the rag and bone man,
Okay.
a fire, a real fire, oh, a bonfire. Oh well, maybe it'll get out of control, as Captain Flack says.
Pyromania.
Jack and Ori, Johnny Quest, Tom Tom, which is the thing for kids about science. Tom Tom is the thing where one of the clips from Power of the Daleks came from, exploding
right, okay.
Daleks
Yeah.
in part 6. Magic Roundabout. Going for a Song. That's a weird timing. 17 minutes past 6.
Yeah.
Arthur Negus is our resident connoisseur. 6:40 Bewitched, no less. 7:05 The Newcomers, directed by Paddy Russell. And All Gas and Gaiters is 7:30. Produced by Stuart Allen. Designer Colin Shaw.
Okay.
Who was designer on the Moon Base, and the
Yes.
Moon Base is currently running for Doctor Who at the moment.
All right. Okay.
And music by who is it doing the music? Stanley Myers.
Okay.
Reign of Terror.
All right.
So,
Okay. Gosh.
Some
Lots of connections.
some yes, but yeah, we're doing this basically because we've done the War Machine,
And we were talking about William Mervyn.
and I wanted to do a William Mervyn thing, and because there are lots of William Mervyn
There are.
things to do, but
This is only a half an hour William Mervyn thing.
yes, but he's already well known for Mr. Rose
He
from
is.
It's Dark Outside, and
Yeah.
Mr. Rose is just starting up as a series,
series,
now. So yeah, he's a busy boy, is William
is.
Mervyn
Yes.
at this point in his career, isn't he? But we get the title sequence first of all, with organ music,
Yes.
and then a bit of la la la.
Yeah. It's quite jazzy, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, no, who is it singing the music? Is it the Mike Sam singers? It usually
Possibly.
is, isn't it?
I don't know. I should have looked that up before.
I should have looked that up. I don't know. But we get. I can always correct that in the things if I'm wrong.
Okay.
But we get the shot of the twisty spire because this is set at St Og's.
Yes.
And St Albans Cathedral is sort of used as it, but they've stuck the famous twisted spire of the Church of St Mary and All Saints, Chesterfield, added on top.
Okay.
So there's the actual twisted spire. So that is real.
Oh, okay.
And you can go and see it. Yes, and there's theories about why it's twisty.
Okay. Twisty because it's twisted.
Mr. Twist.
Mr. Twist.
Dr. Twist, isn't it?
Yeah.
From Doomwatch. Well, Martha's gone for a scratch, but yeah, she's happy. But yeah, this as we say, it was released on DVD, and it's only looking today that I realised who wrote the words for the original DVD release, because you've got a booklet with it. Our release doesn't have a booklet.
Our booklet doesn't have a release. Doesn't have.
Did you get it second hand or not?
I can't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the original booklet was written by one Andy Priestner, no less, proving what a very small world it is somewhere.
It does.
Andy's stuff can be heard on several of our podcasts. But the title sequence involves them playing croquet, doesn't it?
Yes.
And the Dean sort of, they're all a bit rubbish and the Dean's quite good.
Yes.
Have you ever played croquet?
No.
No? Never?
Never.
Never been anywhere where you saw
No.
croquet being played?
No.
Nowhere posh at a
No,
village
I
fete
obviously
or
don't
something?
move in those circles.
In those circles.
So.
But the bishop comes home.
Mhm.
He's been out at meetings and things,
Yes.
and he's in a taxi being driven by Joe Gladwin, and he passes a load of people going into a meeting,
Yes.
which is an emergency residence meeting.
Yes.
It says it's 7:30 p.m.
Yes.
and it's dark.
Yes.
I'm gonna think about that later on in the episode,
Okay.
because you said, well, that implies it's winter then, doesn't it?
Yes.
Or sort of, late-ish for it to be dark.
Sort of autumn, winter.
Autumn, winter,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure that they've thought this through
Okay.
later on, but we
Right.
shall see.
Oh, yeah. I know
Yes,
what
you can
mean.
know what I'm going to say. But the bishop wants to sort of book the taxi for another day when he's going to be coming home at midnight.
Yes.
And Joe Gladwin doesn't like the sound of this,
No.
does he?
Because the ghost.
Because he's scared of the ghost. And we cut to Derek Nimmo indoors, who's reading a book, Cathedrals and Their Ghosts. And he hears the bishop coming, he hides it under a cushion.
He does, yes.
Bishop immediately has some sherry, doesn't he?
Does.
That's one of the recurring gags in
It
this.
is.
Everybody drinks
Yes.
sherry.
Yes.
You know.
Sherry Archdeacon?
Yeah, the Archdeacon especially is keen on sherry.
That's
isn't
sherry, yes.
But the bishop's moaning about meetings and administration. He's got a hole in his sock, hasn't
Yes.
he? But yeah, the meeting's all about, this emergency meeting's all about the ghost because it keeps on being sighted. And even the dean's wife has seen it.
Yes.
And apparently it's been seen 8 or 9 times this week or something.
Yes. Yes.
So the bishop doesn't believe it, but it's meant to be an old crusader that's sort of walking through the cloisters or something. But the bishop won't have anything to do with superstition like that,
No.
although he's a bit upset when Newt puts his shoe on the table,
On the table, yes.
because that's bad luck
It's bad
apparently.
luck, yes.
Enter Robertson Hare, who manages to nearly knock the sherry glasses
He
over
does.
at one point.
Yes, he says, "You help yourself to a sherry, Henry."
Yeah.
He sort of knocks it and catches it, doesn't
Makes
he?
a beeline for it, but
Yeah.
then the dean comes in
Yes.
and goes, what's the, so it's Mrs. Pugh Critchley.
Yes.
So that's the dean's
Yes.
name, but yeah, his wife is with him. A lovely little bit where, because John Barron's he's very familiar as CJ in this,
He
isn't it?
is.
It's a very familiar
Yes, it's-
John
it's-
Barron performance.
It is,
Yeah. And you almost think he's in charge, don't
You
you?
do. You feel like he should be in charge because he's the more practical one amongst all the members
Yeah.
of the sort of cathedral staff.
Yeah. Because the Archdeacon's a bit sort of bumbly, isn't he,
Yeah.
and old and forgetful, and Newt is just a bit dim, isn't he? Really,
Yes.
though he's not
Yes.
as dim as Derek Nimmo's later
Oh, no.
creations in Oh
Yeah.
Brother and Oh Father and Oh Lord and Oh Heavens and Oh God, I can't stand watching this, or whatever it's called. Yes, we did try with Oh Brother,
We
but
did.
we didn't get very far.
We watched about 3 episodes, and even Derek Francis could not save it.
But yeah, I like the bit where the dean and his missus go to sit on the sofa, and the dean says, "Sit here, my love," and the archdeacon just goes, "Oh, thank you,"
Sits down on him.
sits down on him. But yes, apparently Mrs. Hugh Critchley was in the cloisters, and she felt icy cold and wasn't alone. And there was a figure in a black cloak that vanished through a wall, apparently. and the bishop just thinks this is a verger or something like
Yes.
that. But yeah, they want it to be exorcised,
Yes.
don't they?
Yeah.
And the bishop's not keen because it
No.
would be bad publicity.
Yes.
It'd be in
For
all the
cathedral,
papers,
Yes. Yes.
and he wants proof before he does anything. So
Yes.
it's suggested that
He
he
spends
spend
the night
in the cloisters, and he says he's a seeker of the truth. And then we get a little bit of showy-offy effect here. We get one of those circular iris wipes, so
Yeah.
the picture goes down in a circle to nothing and then comes back out again
Yeah.
with the change of scene. It's like sort of George Lucas has found
Sadly wandered
the
in.
white button. We get some spooky music
We do.
and a nice couple of shots of an owl as well,
Yes.
don't we?
Yes.
But yeah, William Mervyn and Derek Nimmo are like in the cloisters now, and Nimmo's immediately scared by the owl hooting,
Yes.
isn't he? He's brought some mittens, and he's got a load of stuff. He's got
Yeah.
cushions, a sort
Yeah.
of picnic basket, and
Yeah.
all sorts. Flask of coffee. He's brought his book "Cathedrals and Their Ghosts" with him. But yeah, apparently they're going to have their food at 3 a.m.
Yes.
and it's only 11
Yes.
when they start. So, but the bishop's brought some ghost detecting devices
Yes.
with him, hasn't he? And then, like Nemo's going on, oh, is it an infrared telescope or is it that? And now it turns out to be 2 bags of
2
flour.
bags of flour, yes. Yes.
Because the idea being you sprinkle the flour.
And if there's any footprints, it's not a ghost.
Yeah, that's right. And I did start to think about Sapphire and Steel and the Ghosts of Motley Hall. Because who's the chap? Who's the ghost detector?
Oh, Gerald James.
Yeah, because he's the ghost hunter character in
In both, yeah.
both of those. And they do seem to be using some of his techniques in a
Yes.
minute, don't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, they sort of go. There's a silly routine where they sort of spread all the flour and keep making footprints in it.
Yeah.
Nimmo starts singing "We Plough the Fields and Scatter"
Yes.
at this point. And then he gets frightened by his own footsteps because he
does.
looks behind and thinks he's being followed.
Yeah.
And that made me think of Piglet and Pooh.
Oh, right, yeah.
When they're going around
Yeah.
in the snow tracking the woozle or whatever it is, and they keep they see their own footprints and get scared by them, and then they go around again and there are even more footprints, so it's obviously been joined by something, so
Right.
it gets more and more dangerous.
Okay.
But yeah, they sort of get all the pillows and the hot water bottles, and basically the bishop gets everything, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
He gets all the pillows, the blanket, the hottie bottles. I've got my hottie bottle here, so I'm going to share it with you.
Okay, thank
There
you.
you go. But yeah, time passes with some animated clouds and the shot of the spire, and it becomes nearly 11:15, doesn't
Yes,
it?
and they've eaten all the sandwiches and drunk all the coffee.
Yeah, that didn't take them long,
No.
didn't it? So much. But yeah, Nimmo starts going, "I spy with my little eye," and the bishop doesn't seem to know what I spy is.
He doesn't. He's never played I Spy. No.
But he's gone for the bishop chooses tea, then goes for time,
Time, yeah.
and Nimmo objects as that's not an object.
No.
So he has a look in his book again, and apparently this crusader that you might see,
Yeah.
you might hear sort of footsteps and a dragging sound
Of
as
his sword.
of his sword dragging along the sort of stone, and then they get scared as they see a figure with a
Or
sort
hear
of
a
well they hear sort of a sound, and they see a figure
Yes.
who's got a sort of thing on his head, like a crusader would have.
Like it's sort of the cowl of
Yeah,
chainmail.
and he's dragging something metal
Yeah.
behind him, isn't he? And I thought this was a bit of a stretch to get this
Yes.
in, but anyway. And it turns out to be the Archdeacon.
Yes, and he's got his balaclava on and his stirrup pump that he used in the Second World War.
Why? It's never quite explained why he's dragging the stirrup
No,
pump, because he
did-
sort of fumbles the line a bit as
He
well,
does.
doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all a bit silly, but he's brought a reel of black cotton. So yeah, you put the black cotton across, and then a ghost would walk through it, but a human wouldn't.
No.
And this is what Gerald James does, because he definitely puts up cotton at one point. And he's also brought a bag of mixed nuts.
Yes.
And I'm just thinking of Laurel and Hardy when
Yes.
Ollie's in
the
hospital.
Yeah.
Hard-boiled eggs and nuts. But he's eaten all the Brazils.
Yes. But he's left the curly one.
And by this point it's nearly 12 o'clock.
Yes.
So they put out the lantern. And And then there's a rustling noise that frightens Nimmo,
Mhm.
and that's the bag of nuts.
Yes.
Excuse me. But yeah, then he wants to pee, doesn't he? Inevitably after drinking all the coffee.
Yes.
So he starts
Derek Nimmo
fidgeting.
needs to pee.
He starts fidgeting, and they point out that he shouldn't break the cotton. So
He's got a crawl,
he's got to crawl on his
stomach.
belly
Yeah.
as though he were the snake from Genesis.
Mm.
Not the Doctor Who book Genesis, but
No, the
there's
Bible.
the noise of a cat as well.
Yes.
But yeah, Newt and the Archdeacon both go on together.
Newt gets scared. He wants
somebody
to
to come with him.
Yeah.
So they're crawling about in the flour.
Yeah.
And the bishop gets left alone, and he gets scared, so
Yeah.
he follows them.
Yeah.
Then he gets covered in flour.
Yeah.
And then they do the thing of like the two of them round one bit of the corner, and then the bishop the other, and they sort of sneak up on each other and
Yeah, scare each other.
and
Yes.
it's that dreadful old one, isn't it? And then it's the morning, and they're all asleep,
Yes.
and it's 5 a.m, isn't it?
Yes.
And you get some more music.
You do.
And who should come walking around the corner but Patrick Newell?
Patrick Newell, his mother.
Mother from the Avengers and Colonel Faraday from
the
Android Invasion. And he's a verger
Yes.
in this.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the idea that the bishop isn't quite familiar with all the vergers. He's so high up.
Yeah, that he doesn't get to know.
He doesn't know who all the vergers
No.
are. But yeah, he sort of Patrick Newell looks at his watch.
He's got a pocket watch.
Yeah, he's got a pocket watch, and, and then he looks at them, and they're sort of in front of a wall, aren't they? Where they've been all night. And I noticed they've got the newspaper with them that says St Og's Gazette, so that's the local paper. But he coughs, and they wake up, and it's now 5 a.m, and it's really, really bright.
Yes.
So suddenly it's not winter.
No.
So yeah.
But then I suppose what time? I suppose it might be starting to get dark in September.
Yeah.
But then what time does it get light in September?
That's the trouble, you see. I can accept there's pitch black at 7:30, but really, really bright at 5 o'clock.
No.
I'm not so sure about that. But yeah, they start talking to Patrick Newell, and he says he's been here for years, but he doesn't feel the cold.
No.
He's on night duty, basically.
Yes, he's permanently on night duty.
Yeah, which is why the bishop never meets him.
Yes.
Because the bishop's never been around at 5 a.m.
No, before.
By this point, the bishop has nicked the mittens and the balaclava as well, so he's just covered in
He's got everybody else's stuff.
Yeah. And then, of course, the bishop realises this ghost that everybody's seen must be the verger, because he walks this path every day, and people just must spot him and think he's the ghost.
Yes.
So they say to him, it's you that's been terrorising the cloisters. And he went, oh, is it? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realise. And they sort of joke and say, don't go walking through too many walls, will you? And he goes, only this one.
Yeah.
They go off, and he walks towards the wall, and there's a slightly wonky sort of fade effect because the camera sort of wobbles a bit.
Yes.
It's like locked off the camera. It's like the TARDIS dematerialisation effect, but the camera slightly wobbles, so the whole wall moves a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
And that's the end of the episode.
Yes.
And Robertson Hare gets the first credit.
He does. Well, then he's first on the opening.
He's first on the opening credits. Yeah.
He's obviously the most well known. I think
Yeah.
was he not a film star?
And I could have a look.
So I'm sure he was terribly well known.
Once upon a time. Yeah. I mean, I'm not really that familiar with his work.
I mean, the one thing I will say is that he looks that way all through his life.
Yeah.
Even when he's younger, he still looks the same. He's got the little round glasses and the sort of bald head and.
Yeah, no, he's done a fair old bit. Look at his film credits alone. But yeah, he's sort of known for all sorts of things. But I really enjoyed that episode.
Yeah.
It's not overly silly. I think they're especially that first opening scene with Joe Gladwin. There's no jokes in it. It's done like a proper. If you didn't know it was a comedy series at this point,
you wouldn't necessarily.
You might think we're setting up for a bit of a sort of spooky story, aren't you? Really? I mean, some of them are more silly than this. I think.
Yes. But
because it's a black and white episode, this sort of atmospheric type of story, which they don't really do.
No.
As of the ones that survive, it's slightly unusual.
It
I
is,
think.
yeah.
But I would like to see some more recovered.
Yes.
That's the
you want to
that's the
see
thing.
an Ernest Clark one.
I want to
don't
see
you?
Ernest Clark.
Because
Yeah.
obviously Ernest Clark is quite. When I think of Ernest Clark, I think of Doctor in the House.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he plays Professor Loftus.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
it, and he's great because he is abrupt and cross with them, but deep behind it, he cares
Yeah.
about them all.
But the idea, I mean, we're familiar with people in comedy series changing. Like,
Yeah.
Citizen Smith.
Mhm.
The dad changes
Yes, from Peter Vaughan to
Tony Steedman. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the idea that somebody changes and then changes back again is did that happen in Dallas? Did Miss Ellie change?
Yes,
or something like that?
Yes, it was Barbara Bel Geddes, then it was Donna Reed, and then Barbara Bel Geddes came back.
Yeah. So yeah, but this is unusual. I'd just like to see a season 2 or a season 3 one. But yeah, I think again it's a series I didn't really know at all. I don't think I have any memories of watching it. But yeah, of those episodes that survive, we blasted through them.
We did
Quite quickly.
Quite
We've just
enjoyed
been
them.
meaning to do
Yeah.
All Gas and Gaiters in some form for
and
ages.
not got round to it.
No.
Yes.
So it was nice to just look at that. And so as we go through these sort of Doctor Who stories, I think it's an interesting exercise to pick an accompanying
Thing.
show for each story.
Yes.
We won't do it for each episode.
No, because
but,
it might get a bit tricky.
but yeah, I just wanted to underline, where you can see William Mervyn if you like him.
As we said in the video we did yesterday, he is great, William Mervyn.
Yeah.
Everything he's
Whatever
in
he's
is
in,
great.
yeah.
So we urge you to try other things he's in. Mr. Rose especially.
Yeah.
He's spectacularly good in.
Yeah, but there you are.
So, not It's Dark Outside, that's a bit weird.
Well, again, only half of it survived, so it's a bit hard to tell.
Yeah. But the bits that exist are a bit weird.
They certainly are.
Yeah.
Okay, will that do?
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll say goodbye then.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.